here tonight. He's got 4 ribbies for Colombia. Big drive, right field. Did he do it? Yes, sir. Donald Watts. Base hit into right. Throw to the plate, not in time, and China strikes here in the first. He's going for the save. Can he do it here? He can. And Brazil hangs on. The third and final day of doubleheaders gets going in Tucson, Arizona, as the World Baseball Classic Qualifier gets close to its end. We welcome you to the Kino Sports Complex here in Tucson as China looks to get in the win column against 1-1 Brazil. And once again, we welcome you back to our little booth high in the sky alongside the former Pittsburgh Pirate and Chicago Cub Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta, and Stephen, so far 4 games down, 3 to go. This qualifier's kind of gone exactly as we've expected.
It has. Colombia 2-0, China 0-2 today, in a huge game for both of these teams, but also Brazil, great win yesterday against Germany.
Brazil's offense finally woke up. They were blanked by Colombia 5-0, but you saw them yesterday hang on for dear life against Germany.
You had to continue to score, and there were 2 players who really did most of the heavy lifting for this offense yesterday for Brazil. Lucas Ramirez, the young son, 19 years old, of Manny Ramirez, did a great job, had a double, had an RBI, and then, of course, Leonardo Regenato, the unaging man who just continues to hit no matter where he is in the world. You love to see it. He had another double yesterday. He's got 2 in this tournament.
He's been unbelievable. Regenato, for his career in qualifiers, hitting well over 500. It gives Brazil a fighting chance, which is all you can ask for here. As for China, 0-2, still looking to get on track here, but we did notice that defensively, they put on a clinic last night against Colombia.
They did. Overall, a much better fundamental game yesterday for China. Colombia just ended up the better team, but we saw some great defense. First baseman Yu Yang Lee with some incredible stretches over at first base, and then the play of the tournament already done yesterday. That's Mingjin Zhang over at third base making an incredible diving play, and then we'll see another stretch from Yu Yang Lee at first base because, I mean, look at those splits. That's incredible.
My legs are still hurting after watching those. He's a magician over there at first base. We'll see what happens here today as we get going for our final day of doubleheaders. Lineups and first pitch are coming up in just a bit, but first we take a look back at the 2013 World Baseball Classic when Brazil lost to China in a stunning fashion.
2-0 here. Brazil on top. The bags are loaded. It's up, and China has a run, and here comes Ray Chang. It's a base hit, and China takes the lead, and China is an out away. Fastball struck them out. China wins it.
We told you that China hitting coach Ray Chang was a big player on some of those old national teams. Now the 20th ranked team in the world will come up to bat early here against number 23 Brazil. Brazil 9-7 win over Germany yesterday, and in the end the eyes are on this prize right here for next year's WBC. All 4 pools spanning the globe from Puerto Rico to Houston, Tokyo, and Miami. 2 spots left for these 4 teams, and later tonight we will see Colombia and Germany wrapping up our doubleheader. First things first, a look at Brazil's starter. It's 21-year-old Pedro Lemos out of Santo André in Brazil. Last season an A-ball, 5-4, ERA over 4 in 31 appearances, and was part of the Modesto Nuts, who won their 2nd straight California League championship. Part of the Mariners organization. Last year in 89 2/3 innings, 93 hits allowed, 8 home runs, almost a strikeout per inning. There are his numbers from Modesto in the California League, which, as we know, traditionally very hitter-friendly.
Oh, very hitter-friendly. The California League, and then maybe the Western Conference, sorry, the Pacific League in AAA, the worst places to be a pitcher. But if you can do well there, you can do well anywhere. And, you know, we've seen this team from Brazil, the pitching staff, first day, fantastic. Second day, struggled a bit.
Here's China's lineup, and if you remember, they got this tournament started with a first-inning run against Germany. But they've only scored twice since then. Last night, losing to Colombia 8-1. They are the only winless team here at 0-2. Here is your lineup. The two guys to watch, 1 and 3. We'll see them in the first. Tenyuan Hu and Pei Liang, both 3 for 8 in the qualifier so far. So China going back in the all reds. There's Ray Chang jogging down to the third base coach's box. And there is manager Wei Li looking really sharp in those Brett the Hitman hard shades. It is a beautiful day once again here in Tucson, and it's great to be back with my partner, Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta, producer Mike Trainer, and the rest of our great crew, bringing you day 3 and game 5 of 7 here in the Tucson Regional.
You know, this game has a lot riding on it. This may be a bit of a surprise to some who maybe have not paid attention. The rules in this tournament for advancing are a little bit strange. Either of these teams, whichever team wins today, they are going to be playing in the championship game on Thursday. And if they win that game, they're going to the World Baseball Classic next year. So this game means everything to both of these teams.
Lots on the line and tension already building. First pitch fired, ball 1 from the right-hander Lemos. It's Tenyuan Hu leading things off for a Chinese squad that has been outscored 20-3 in their 2 losses against Colombia and Germany. Corners tight for Brazil. And as we've seen, the strike zone here in Tucson has been a bit tight. It is 2-0 on Hu, with Lemos trying to establish an early rhythm with Gabriel Carmo behind the plate. Short windup. And there's a strike threading the outside.
It's going to be important for China to try to get things going early here. Yesterday, only 3 hits, but more importantly, still do not have a single extra base hit in their first 2 games in the tournament. Somebody's going to have to get behind one.
Tenyuan Hu, 25 years old, looked really good in the California Winter League this offseason. 17 games, batted .289. And the most impressive thing, we see it here in a 3-1 count, 18 walks, only 5 strikeouts. Lemos back to work. And he walks him, so there's a little something for Hu, and he continues to get on base atop this lineup.
Yeah, Brazil yesterday walked 11 German hitters. 11. That is too many. Yesterday, they got away with some bad German offense. Unfortunate, unable to score those big runs near the end of the game. But they're going to have to keep them off the bases here against China.
3 Gabriels in the lineup for Brazil. It's Gabriel Carmo behind the plate, Gabriel Gomez in left, and Gabriel Maciel in center field. The left fielder Wenbi Xiang. That's a nice bunt down to third. Hejanato's there. Easy toss in time with Bichette covering. And the sacrifice gets Hu to second.
I really like that. I appreciate the West Coast baseball. We talked about that. Team China comes into this tournament realizing maybe we're going to have to do things a little bit differently from the other teams. You can't try to out-hit Brazil. You're not going to be able to, in the traditional sense, just bang against them. And so what do you have to do? You have to manufacture runs. 1 run in the first here would go a long way for Team China.
The other teams here do not have to manufacture the way China does. But they've got Pei Liang at the plate, 3 for 8 so far in the first 2. And Lemos slows it down, a steal strike 1. Now Liang has 2 of their 3 runs, and we talked about this a couple of days ago that in the last WBC he really didn't do a whole lot as their leadoff hitter, but he has slotted in nicely to the 3 spot. That time he takes, it's a ball and a strike.
Only got 3 hits in game 1, but he was 0 for 4 yesterday. So, you know, in a situation like this, he wants to come through for this team because, as hitting coach Ray Chang talked a lot about, this is one of their main guys. They believe that Liang is a big part of this lineup, and he will be for a long time.
0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts last night against Colombia. And he takes high, 2-1. So far Lemos trying to get into a rhythm here, but just having a tough time locating in the early going. Walk 2 on 5. Xiang the sac bunt on the first pitch, and now a 2-1 to Ang. And now it's 3-1 again.
Yeah, just a little bit of trouble getting in the zone here at the beginning of the game for Lemos. And you can't be giving free passes to China. We talked about that. This is the kind of team that you got to make them hit their way through their offense, because they have not shown yet that they can do that consistently.
Infield back, and there's a strike. Liang started to take a few steps out of the box.
Come on back. Come on back. Let's take a look. Catcher set.
That's dead red.
Couldn't be any more of a strike.
Lucas Hoju doing a lot of dancing over at second base for Brazil, and that time it is ball 4. So Liang works the second walk for China, and it brings up the cleanup hitter Yoon Lu with only 1 away.
You see a lineup change here. No more Samuel Benjamin in the 4th spot. He struggled those first 2 days in a big way, and so Team China changing things up in that cleanup spot. Try to mix things up, and now a big spot for the 4-hitter here in the 1st inning.
And yet, I get the feeling that at some point today, we might see Samuel Benjamin come off the bench in a big spot.
Big pinch hit against a right-handed pitcher as a big power lefty. And you know what? If he comes in and hits a double in the gap, scores 2 big runs, all of a sudden the struggles the first 2 days don't matter at all.
That goodwill arrives immediately. 0 for 8 with 2 strikeouts for Benjamin. So now Yoon Lu cleaning up, playing third base here today for China. And he goes after the first one, throwing it foul off his front leg.
I'm telling you, man, shin guards never block the part of your leg that gets hit. It's incredible. It's like the ball knows.
It was Lu in game 1 back on Sunday who came up with 2 outs in the first against Germany and came through with an RBI single on 0-2. A very short-lived lead for Team China. He did not play yesterday, but back in there now, and immediately stares down 0-2.
Yeah, he just likes hitting in this spot, apparently. This is an important at-bat. There's a big hole on the left side. I got a good feeling that sinker inside gave him some trouble the first pitch, but that was a good slider. Got a lot of room on that left side of the field, though, if you can roll one through there.
Yeah, you got Heginado hugging the line, and a good protect right there on 0-2. Yoon Lu, there are some whispers that he fancies his speed on the bases to that of Usain Bolt on the starting blocks.
Yeah, that's quite difficult to get. It's a tough one. Look at that outfield. Look how shallow they are. They're going to be playing shallow all game. Team China hasn't shown any sign of really big power yet.
Here's a pop-up and a shallow fly into right. Tough play. And a good job by Maskai to bail out Hoju, who lost it coming back from second base.
And we've seen a lot of difficulty out in right field on the balls on the ground, balls up in the air. The wind has been a difficulty for right fielders. And they had Lucas Ramirez out in right field the last few games. He's been playing really well. Not out there today. But hey, you get good right field play anyway.
That's another guy that will likely make an impact in this game at some point. So a big second out for Lemos. Here's the DH, Jiaji Chen, trying to find his footing. 1 for 7, 3 strikeouts, and a healthy cut for strike 1. Pedro Lemos, only 21 years old, out of Santo Andre in Brazil. His career's really been stop and go so far because of COVID in 2020, which wiped out the minor league season, and then a season-ending injury in 2022. Once again, pounding Chen. He was 1 for 7 with 3 strikeouts through 2 games.
Chen right there had a good opportunity on the 0-1 fastball, kind of out over the middle of the plate, but couldn't get on top of it. Now you got a battle.
So Lemos trying to close out the first with a flourish. Left that one up. And I think what you said before about capitalizing and pouncing on mistakes, I think every team has done that except for China.
It's true. They especially in their first game, they had a lot of base runners. They had a bunch of singles. They just haven't been able to get a big hit to drive in those runs.
Fouled off again. And what Steven's referring to is game 1 for China when they had the early lead, ultimately lost 12-2 in a 7-inning mercy rule. They were 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They left 8 on the bases. So it's not like they haven't gotten runners on, although last night completely neutralized by Colombia. 6 hitless innings from the Colombian bullpen. And there's the fastball from Lemos. He climbs the ladder, strikes out Chen, and China leaves a pair, bringing up Brazil for the first time. Brazil a lot more methodical yesterday in their 9-7 win over Germany. They were blanked by Colombia 5-0 to open this qualifier. But this lineup gives you a little bit of everything. 18 walks, 16 strikeouts through 2 games. And now they get to look at the left-hander Xiang Wang making his first appearance of this Tucson qualifier. The lefty deals down for ball 1. Another youngster on the mound for China out of Jilin Province, 21-year-old Xiang Wang. Comes to the plate, it's 2-0 on Gomez.
He's had a tough go in the WBC in his career. Just pitched in the 2023 Classic. He's only 19, and he had 2 appearances, and they were against Japan. You know, Shohei Ohtani, all those guys he faced, and then South Korea. So he has not had an easy go of it. So I don't know if I necessarily want to look at those numbers as, you know, as fact as to what he can do.
In that start against Samurai Japan, he only allowed 1 run in an inning and 2/3, but he walked 6. So the control has been an issue at times. He pours in a strike to Gomez, who so far is 1 for 7 with a double and a couple of runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for the Atibaia, Brazil native. 5-pitch walk. More of the same from yesterday for the Brazilians.
Yeah, they like to walk their way on, but this team can be a little bit aggressive with their swings if you just show them that you're going to be in the zone consistently. So Wong's going to have to, he's going to have to show it. He's going to have to show it early, otherwise this Brazilian team will take advantage.
Well, Gomez has now walked 3 times, but he doesn't really walk, does he? He kind of jogs down to first. We like that.
Has a little fun with it.
Here's the DH, Osvaldo Carvalho, appearing for the first time. And it's ball 1. The home plate umpire is Wilfredo Montoya. Harley Acosta down at first, Tanner Moore at second, Trevor Daniger, who's been a mainstay on the crew, over at third. Ball and a strike on the 23-year-old Osvaldo Carvalho. And these are the stories that we love at these types of events, because he plays for his hometown team in Marília, Brazil. Pulled on the ground, that's through the right side, base hit. Keep an eye on Gomez, he immediately goes to third. Throw comes in, Brazil doing damage on the bases. It's first and third with nobody out.
Just a good, quiet swing there. Get that sharp grounder through the right side. If we were playing a few years ago and they were fully shifted over, that's never a hit.
And that's perfect timing, because Carvalho, when he's not playing baseball, he's a construction worker. And they're building something already for Brazil. Runners at the corners, nobody out.
That was so good. That was so good.
I always try and get Brawl to crack a smile. When I do that, I know I'm doing my job. And Brazil so far, a walk and a single through the right side. And again, how many times have we said it? You manufacture runs first to third. Very underrated part of the game.
Especially, and now you can get Reginaldo, your best hitter, up at the plate with a runner on third and nobody out in the first inning. Even if he hits into a double play, because he's not an especially speedy runner, you're still scoring that run. So huge for them to get to third.
Here's the man going after the first one and fouling it off. Leonardo Reginaldo, 3 for 7, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. This is where he thrives, and he's got options here with Gomez at third and Carvalho at first. The outfield very spread out for China.
I just love how consistent Reginaldo is, because in the first game he didn't get a hit in his first few at-bats, and we were joking about the fact that his average is going down so much in these tournaments because he was hitting over almost 600. And of course, in these last few games, everything has turned around. He had a double in the end of the first game. He had a double again yesterday, and he just hits. I mean, he finds ways to get on.
What amazes me about him, and again, I called his minor league games back in 2013 and 2014. He still has an unbelievable understanding of the zone. Right there, pulls it through the left side. That's a base hit into left field. Again, Brazil trying to take the extra base. They do, and they're off and running. 1-0 on Reginaldo's base hit.
Another sharp grounder pulled this one to the left side by Reginaldo. And man, I really thought that Wu was going to have a chance with that one at shortstop. Nice play to his right, but it looked like it just kicked up a little bit, and unfortunately unable to keep that one in the infield. And so the runner not only scores, but also from first to third. Good job getting over there by Carvalho.
I don't know if Leonardo's ever changed his stance, that little toe tap. It's just working. It's worked for 15 years. And Brazil starts the day with 3 straight on. A walk, back-to-back singles, and a 1-0 lead. Another RBI chance for Dante Bichette Jr. 1 for 8 with a double thus far.
She started in the
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen all that much production from Bichette yet, although he has scored 2 runs. But it feels like he's played better than what his numbers would suggest. I've liked his swings that he's been taking. I think he's done a good job at the plate of getting good pitches to hit, just not really executing all the way through.
And Wong's really digging himself a ditch right now. Now, we talked about what he did against Japan in the last WBC. And then when he pitched against Korea, you referenced that appearance. He'll get a mound visit here. He let up 6 runs in 1 inning of relief. So far, he's given up 1 run and is in danger of walking them loaded for Hoju.
Yeah, just getting himself in bad counts. And the Brazilian offense looking very comfortable at the plate. We talked a lot about guys, especially left-handers, without much velocity, that you have to be able to get inside on these righties so that they're not just, standing out over the plate and taking comfortable swings. Here in a 3-0 count, I can guarantee you 100% that Bichette has the green light here, so you cannot just lay one in.
Xu Di Suo already getting loose in China's bullpen. 15 pitches. And a 1-0 Brazil lead on a Leonardo Reginato base hit. His 3rd RBI of the tourney. Easy take for Bichette, and now they're loaded up.
It does not get any easier from here. Hoju yesterday had an absolute line drive double.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Talked about Hoju's experience in the qualifiers before. You go back to the 2016 qualifying event. He was 3 for 10 with an RBI. Now he's got him loaded. A chance to really punch China in the ribs.
I like the aggression there. First pitch. I know we've seen some walks here, but bases loaded early in the game. Try to knock this out immediately. Do everything you can to put a bunch of runs on the board. I'm okay with that, especially a fastball down the middle. As long as you're getting a good swing off. Of course, if he hits into a double play, probably rumbling and grumbling a little bit, but I like the aggression.
The corners are in for China. Behind the plate, they've got Shuai Wang, who's a wizard blocking pitches in the dirt. We saw that last night against Colombia. Now the 1-1. Ripped through the left side. There's a base hit. The initial runner stopped, station to station, and it's 2-0 Brazil.
It does not stop. This team is comfortable at the plate. Just not really anything from Wong giving them any trouble. And just look at that swing straight to the ball. Low line drives we're seeing from this Brazilian team. Not trying to get too big and lift the ball over the outfielders' heads. Just hard line drives through the infield. And like you said, station to station, still nobody out. First 5 hitters of this first inning and no outs still.
Second hit and 2nd RBI of the qualifier for Hoju. They remain loaded for Mascai. Has also got a couple of hits and a couple of ribbies. Same defensive alignment for the Chinese. Ball 1. And I think what we've noticed with Brazil, and remember yesterday, it wasn't like it started all that well for them, because they went 9 up and 9 down against Tommy Sommer, Germany's starter, and then they really turned it on in the 4th inning. They went 12 innings before they finally scored, and ever since then, they've figured out what works. They are not going up there looking to swing big.
No, they aren't. They're staying at small, compact. They're playing their game. And when you play your game, manager Yuichi Matsumoto had talked about that a lot with us beforehand, playing their game the best that they can, not trying to be somebody else. And this Brazilian team, they've shown this lineup has a lot of threats, not necessarily home run threats, but just continuous threats throughout the lineup.
2 runs already in. And we could be getting close to a 3rd. It's now 3-1, and you have to wonder if this could be it right here for Wong, should he lose Mascai.
I imagine it would be. That pitch count already at 23. And unfortunately, no end in sight in this inning, still nobody out.
3-2 on the way. China now with these 2 runs in this first inning being outscored 22-3. And it could get ugly here depending on what happens with Ma Sky. Payoff on the way. Ball 4, 3-0 Brazil.
That's an unfortunate walk. I know as this inning has gone on, we started with the walk and then you had a few singles and then another walk, a single, and now another walk, and that's going to be it. And for the unfortunate start by Wong. But this game is a must-win, so you got to do what you got to do.
China's nightmare could just be getting started. We're back right after this.
So 3 runs already in for Brazil, still nobody out, and Shudi Suo comes into the game to try to minimize the damage here in the first, but nobody out and the bases loaded. Suo did throw earlier against Germany in the first game. He walked 3, he hit 1. He only gave up 1 earned run in this inning in the third. He's going to have to find the zone here early because Brazil is very comfortable in the plate right now.
3-0. Xiang Wang faced 6 hitters and failed to record an out. 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks right now. Put on a miss by Carmo. Gabriel Carmo, the 7th batter here for Team Brazil. 0-for-2 with a sac bunt, also hit by a pitch against Germany in that 9-7 win yesterday. All in a strike on the way. And Wang held it there, but it's 2-1.
Yeah. Pretty good slider there just off the outside corner, but a better take from Carmo. Saw yesterday, good defensive catcher.
I think the catchers have been really good in this qualifier.
Absolutely.
But walks have been a major problem for a lot of these pitchers.
Yeah, yesterday Brazil was the team doing the walking. They walked Germany 11 times, and here today already walked thrice, and 3-ball count here.
Good spot. Really nothing Carmo could do with that. Quick word with the plate umpire Wilfredo Montoya just to make sure things are on the level there.
That's the kind of pitch that as a hitter you start walking because there's nothing you can do. You weren't going to hit it, so you might as well pretend it was ball 4 and see if you get the call.
You're either getting jammed or you're just flicking it back to the screen if you're lucky. So now another 3-2 on the way. Mascot walked a moment ago. Now the pitch to Carmo. Wind over short, base hit, left center field. That scores Bichette. Hoju on his way in. Brazil just ridiculous. 5-0. Nobody out in the first.
I think we're seeing a lot of good stuff here for Brazil. I mean, this is the team that in the first game got shut out by Colombia. And the offense, talk about waking up. They literally have not gotten out yet. We are now at the 8 hitter, still not a single out here in the first inning. Already 5 runs in. they want to get to that game on Thursday. You can feel it. They came out ready to swing today.
And what I love, they have now gone first to third 3 separate times in this first inning. And with that ball right there, you see how far Sheehan had to go over to get it. Too easy. 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 runs, and no outs. That's the killer for China. Vitor Ito, the batter, with the infield all the way in. Ito 1 for 7 with a couple of strikeouts. He and Gabriel Maciel continue to alternate in the bottom 2 spots in Brazil's lineup. They are a combined 1 for 13. So still trying to find that right mix. This could be the inning for it because everything's gone right for Brazil.
Absolutely. And Ito, his 1 hit is a bunt single. I don't think he'll do that in this situation, especially with the infield in. But, you know, he's a good defensive shortstop. If you have the rest of your offense operating the way they should, then you can deal with a little bit less offensive prowess out of the shortstop position and go with more the defensive-minded player.
Not only was it a bunt single, it was the bunt single which broke up Julio Teheran's no-hitter in the 6th inning on Sunday. But now a likely automatic take here on 3-0. And there's a strike. But already 5 runs in for Brazil. After the first 12 innings of this qualifier, they did not score.
Looks like a different team, right? I mean, in the box, that first game against Colombia, they looked not necessarily lost, but maybe a little bit of extra pressure under the lights. You always got to wonder what was the message after that game from manager Matsumoto, because it worked.
And there is the first out. A foul tip. And Wong hangs on to give Suo a much-needed relief.
And that's only the first out, and he's still got runners on 2nd and 3rd, so no, you can't celebrate just yet. But very nice to get that first out. Sometimes that's the biggest enemy, right? Get the first out, then you can settle in a little bit. Infield's still playing in, so ground ball, you probably keep that runner at 3rd.
There's Maciel, the number 9 hitter. And it sounds silly, but I truly believe that if China gets out of this 5-0, they'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you're still within striking distance. I mean, you really got to do a lot to get back. But I tell you what, I mean, you keep yourself in a 5-0 lead in the first. Got a lot of game to play.
Maciel skies one in the air into left center. Li Yang charging in, gathering his momentum. The throw comes into the plate. It's a strong one, but not in time. Heck of a slide. Maskai goes in underneath the tag, and it's 6-0 on the sac fly from Maciel.
That was a pretty good defensive play from the center fielder. Li Yang did everything he could to get that out at home. Good strong throw, but that bounce on the grass kind of killed it. Maybe that throw a little bit too high up in the air, so when it hit that grass, it slowed down too much.
What I love here too, watch the runner at 2nd, Carmo. He kind of bluffed towards 3rd and didn't panic. Held on right there, realizing no need to run into an out. The slide here was great from Maskai, and the lineup turns over as Brazil bats around in a 6-run bottom of the 1st.
At this point, you just got to get out of it. You just got to get out of it. You got to get back in the dugout and hope that offense is able to take off in a way they haven't been able to yet in this tournament.
Gomez started this ambush with a 5-pitch walk, 3 walks in the inning, 6 runs on 4 hits, all singles for Brazil. But it don't matter. It's a big lead. And now this one torched down the left field line, up onto the berm for strike 2.
First 6 runners of this game scored. Something you don't see very often.
6 is a good number for Brazil right now. Number 23 team in the world, trying to get back to the WBC for just the 2nd time. On appearance in 2013. And now a 1-2 to Gomez from Suo. Popped up right at Chung. Inning over. But it's all Brazil. They bat around, and everybody gets in on the fun. 6 runs on 4 hits. China's got a lot of catching up to do. Pedro Lemos gets a real soft cushion after Brazil sends 10 to the plate and scores 6 in the first inning. They chased China's starter Xiang Wang, who faced 6 batters and failed to record an out, and they just chipped away. And they didn't stop until it was all said and done. 6-0. And as Steven said during our break just a moment ago, China had 2 on in the first with 1 out and failed to do anything with it. This one swung on by Joe, lifts it in the air to left, right there, and an easy out for Gomez. 1 pitch and 1 away.
I know this is a little bit different because you're in a tournament setting, but generally, if you give up a lot of runs in an inning, as a hitter, you want to be a little bit more patient coming up to the plate as the leadoff guy, because you got to give your team a little bit of time to at least be in the dugout for a few extra minutes to rest and relax. So not a great choice of the swing there on the first pitch, I don't think.
Like trying to get the defense off the field.
Right. Yeah.
So Mingxin Zhang, the hitter, scored China's only run last night in that 8-1 loss to Colombia.
But he made an incredible play at third base. The best play of the tournament, no question. Diving to his left, 108 off the bat.
That was the crazy part.
And then to turn 2, the stretch over at first as well is awesome.
Lemos got the first out on 1 pitch. He's in a 1-2 count with Zhang.
2. Oh, sorry, 3. 3.
Zhang choking up with 2 strikes. A lot of these Chinese hitters do that. 2-2 now from Lemos.
A lot of kids here. Another kids' day like we had yesterday. Not quite the same as those minor league kids games, though, where they play the SpongeBob song.
And I remember a lot. Gerardo Parra with Baby Shark with the 2019 Nationals.
Baby Shark.
You see that clapping, and you know it's coming. Outfield shaded the other way. Broken bat looper, left side. Ito, the shortstop, guns it across. Yes, sir. 2 down.
Sure-handed over there at shortstop is Vitor Ito. We talked about that. Not necessarily their biggest offensive threat, but has been great at short. Fundamentally sound, hasn't made any mistakes. It's really nice to have that as a pitcher. This one you get a little bit distracted from that barrel flying a little bit up in the air. Ito doesn't care.
Good trajectory on this throw off his back foot right here. Kind of up and down, right at Bichette at first.
That's how you do it. Get back behind the ball, get your feet set, get them under you, and then you're moving your momentum towards first base so you can get all your power behind that throw.
Sometimes you see guys from that position shot-putted, and you know as soon as they let it go, it's not making its mark.
Yeah.
But that one right there, textbook from Ito. Lemos, after a 21-pitch first, looking to move fast here in the second.
You know when you're stopping for them, it's a big deal.
And when you're in this spot, Steven, is it as easy as, you know what, I've got a 6-0 lead, I'm just going to be free and easy on the mound?
No, and I hate when people say that. I really do. People always say, oh man, you're up 6. You gotta just throw the ball down the middle of the plate. I'll tell you what, if he gives up 4 runs, that's 4 runs that he gave up that are earned, right? You gotta go out and give everything you have. Sometimes that means, you know, maybe you walk a guy or whatever, but you can't just make it easy for Team China.
But do you think that it's true that some guys don't do well in this sort of spot because it does affect whatever's going on in their head?
Takes away a little bit of that urgency, the sense of urgency on the mound. Yeah, I could see that.
Lemos 2-2. Good spot, but it's ball 3.
And it just misses low and away. Good take there from Wang.
Talked about the 19-game stint in the California Winter League for Team China when they went 14-5. Shuai Wang played in 11 games, hit an even .300 for China, as he knocks some equipment loose with that foul off the netting.
We didn't need that camera, that microphone.
I mean, I know one of the kid I interned with when I was an intern.
We'll just expense it.
Right.
Outfield continues to be staggered around the other way towards right.
Still playing very shallow.
And that's why, served down the line, and that was not a great route by Mascai. It goes all the way into the corner. Wang with China's first hit. He's thinking 3, and he's got it.
that is great to see. Sign of life from Team China on the offensive side. Their 8-hitter and catcher, Shuai Wang, hits a fastball on the outside corner of the plate and just drills it down the right field line. And I think Moskai really had no idea how hard that ball was hit because he was running in and angled toward the line. That ball right on the barrel, though. Good swing. Good little bat toss.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, bad read there.
And we've talked about it. Right field here in Tucson is a lot trickier than left. Not even factoring the wind, which was just a menace yesterday. But for whatever reason, the right fielders here have had a tough time figuring out Keno Veterans Memorial Stadium.
You got to wonder if there's something about the background from their angle that makes the ball harder to pick up. I've seen a lot of not great reads out there in right field from everybody.
So China hoping to just get one back after falling behind 6-0, and look at that. They get it on a balk. Lemos wants an explanation. Trevor Daniger, the third base umpire, was the one who called it out.
I'm going to be completely honest. I was looking down at my scorebook, so I didn't actually see what happened.
I will say, Trevor Daniger was all over it.
Let's take a look. Now he took the ball out of his glove. You can't do that.
It was very subtle. It was all about the hands in the glove.
You can't do that with a runner on. Even if you're in the windup with a runner on third base, runner on anywhere on base, you cannot remove the ball from your glove and then put it back in. So that's one of those rules that balks are supposed to be about deceiving the runner. Was he deceiving the runner there? No. But it's in the rule book, so sure. There you go. So you see him take it out of the glove, walk in, and he calls it right then. You see, he called it so late because you're allowed to not take a balk, right? So if that pitch gets thrown, he hits a double in the gap, you can say, don't worry about the balk, we'll take the double instead. So that's why he waits on that call.
An old accept decline situation in the dirt. With China manufacturing a 2-out run. A triple from Wang and then a balk from Lemos. So a bit of a response here from China, but still a long ways to go. And Lemos not happy, thinking he had strike 3. One more at least for Pedro.
Play 3 in this league. I know you're saying there's a long way to go, and there is. But just swinging that momentum back a little bit towards your own team for China, I think can be really big for them. Like you said, still a long way to go, but this is the first step.
Pitch clock violation. Hold on here. That was a disengagement right there. Trevor Daniger, to his credit, has been very active in this inning, but he's taken charge.
He's been actively correct. They're just saying he stepped off instead of getting the pitch clock violation.
I think Lemos is still peeved by that balk because he didn't really think he did anything wrong, but I think that's the pitcher's way. Not me. Couldn't be me.
I didn't do anything.
And in the cookie jar there. 2-2 now. And a good at-bat by Wu. And what you said before, partner, totally true, where you're China and it's like, all right, we're kind of drowning here, but at least there's one life preserver out there, and it's that one run to answer back here in the second.
I mean, they had 2 runners on in the first as well, so.
See ya. Right there. And just like the first, Lemos ends the second with a strikeout. Brazil coming back to the plate, up 5. In the 2013 WBC, Brazil made history against Panama in Panama City, leaving the tying and winning runs in scoring position, their only appearance in the WBC main tourney, where they eventually beat Brazil 5-2. China's hitting coach Ray Chang drove in 2 runs in a 3-for-4 effort. China was down 2-0. They scored 5 in the 8th inning to beat Brazil. Hard to believe that was 12 years ago now, but so many of those players still involved in some capacity, whether it be as a player or as a coach. Osvaldo Carvalho with a single and a run in that 6-run first for Brazil.
It's honestly one of my favorite things about the WBC are these countries where baseball is not as big as some of the other countries. You get really good stories. Guys who are so committed to baseball in their country and wanting to grow the game. You talked about Ray Chang a bunch, of course, and then you've got Reginato from Brazil, guys who have just been around for such a long time. Great ambassadors for the game in their country and around the world. It's great to see these guys at events like this.
Xu Di Suo. It'll be a long day for him. Nice pitch over the inside. He drops one on Carvalho for out number 1.
Pitch there, a breaking ball. Caught Carvalho looking. Let's take a look at this. From the lefty to the righty, that curveball, he thought that was going to break more into him. Instead, it breaks more straight down. And yeah, that'll cross right below, right the belly button. Call that a strike.
Oh yeah. Swell came in, bases loaded, nobody out. Surrendered the 2 RBI single to Carmo, but has now retired 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Definitely has gotten more comfortable. I mean, think about the situation he came into. Takes a little while to get settled in, and now see if he's able to get a 0 here and get Team China back on the offensive side.
Reginato sends a high pop, tailing over towards first base. Zhang under it. Chang reaches out, and there are 2 gone.
Remember, everybody, if there's a pop-up that is on the infield from the opposite-sided hitter, so a righty hitting it to first base, it is always going to spin back towards the line. You see here, he ends up having to go all the way back to that first baseline. Nice catch there by Zhang.
And that's why there was that play last night where Wang, the catcher, fielded a pop-up coming up the first baseline, and the ball started peeling back on him, which is why we both thought that's first baseman ball all the way. But I think we trust Shuai Wang behind the plate for China to usually make the right decision. Here's Bichette, who walked and scored.
Yeah, that's it.
And they're going to check down at first. It's a ball and a strike.
You see Shuai Wang there lined up way inside, off the plate, trying to get it in on the hands of Bichette. Maybe an overthrow from Suo. And they're in there again.
Inside target.
Right, so this guy should.
And he hit his mark, but it's 2-1.
So to me, that's a show-me pitch. Now after that, you open up that breaking ball in the outside corner. I think that's a really good, effective pitch. Don't be surprised by a breaking ball and a grounder to the left side.
Good spot.
Or it doesn't swing.
Now, is that something that, generally for you, did you like to double up on that fastball inside, or was it truly show me in and then come back away like we just saw there?
No, it all depends on what you're trying to get done. Guy like Bichette, a lot of times, you know he's leaning out over the plate, and so in order to get him to have to respect that fastball, it doesn't need to be over and over again. You just need to show it so that he knows you'll do it. And now you've done it twice. I think that slider will work. There it is.
Ball hammered to short. Wu is there. Wu up with it. Low throw. That time the split doesn't work. And it's a throwing error from Chi-Rei Wu. Shades of the game the other day where China's defense was not great. So they've kind of gone up and down on this roller coaster defensively.
Yeah, just a bad throw there. Perfectly executed slider after those fastballs in. He got his ground ball to the left side. And then unfortunately, shortstop Wu just choked that throw a little bit. Zhang got all the way down there. That is not who we were watching do the splits yesterday. But apparently, that is just a normal thing for the Chinese first baseman, which I find incredible.
Yu Yang Lee was the one on the splits last night at first. Today it's Mingxin Zhang. And that would have helped out Suo quite a bit. So close to a 1-2-3 second. Instead, a Chinese error keeps the inning going for Hoju, who had an RBI single and a run in the first inning. Hoju cracks it, left field, base hit into the corner. Couple of hops to the wall. Keep an eye on Bichette. He pulls into third, and Hoju's 2 for 2 with a double.
Hoju just keeps going. He struggled in his first game, and then yesterday in that last game got himself a knock. And here today, he's looked very compact. That swing just straight to the ball, gets the foot down, drives us down that left field line. We haven't seen many balls pulled down the lines in this tournament in general. See Bichette around second, not a great runner.
He's got great hair, though. I'll give him that.
Very yellow hair. Very on theme with the team colors. I love it.
Is that Mickey Mouse hands or na-na-na-na-na-na? I'm not really sure, but everybody's got a little something unique. Victor Mascai, the batter. And a breaking ball from Suo is in for strike one. Mascai, a bases loaded walk in the first inning. A chance for Brazil to get one back, perhaps two.
Good changeup. And after that error from Wu at shortstop, as a pitcher, you want to pick that guy up because they pick you up all the time. So now you give up that double, but no runs still have come across. You want to get out of this inning and make that shortstop not feel bad about that error he made, because defenders really put it on themselves, like pitchers don't make mistakes. I mean, we obviously make mistakes all the time, but you want to keep that team confidence going, and a great way to do that right here. Get out of this inning without a run.
Line drive, back up the middle, base hit. Bichette is in. Hoju on his way to the plate. Dropped on the mound. Two more for Brazil. It's Mascai with a 3 RBI day.
That one really hurts. Nice swing by Mascai. Maybe too many off-speed pitches in a row. He timed it up really well. That one he kind of just hooked out into center field. Just got enough barrel to get it out there. I think it may have knuckled a little bit. Kind of took the center fielder Liang by surprise on the bounce, but good job of getting up to an off-speed pitch above the zone.
Really up.
Yeah. Good try by Liang. They may have had a chance here on the relay, but...
And because of the error from Wu at shortstop, these 2 runs unearned. Any more runs unearned? 8-1. Brazil just relentless the last 2 days. And it's Carmo who had the 2 RBI single off of Suo to greet him back in the first. Popped up behind the plate.
Look at the effort from Shuai Wang there on the slide. Didn't quite pick that one up right off the bat, so he dropped the mask and had to sprint over there just in case that ball stayed in. But you got to love that effort. We've seen that from him yesterday and today. Doesn't matter what the score is. Shuai Wang is going to be everything that you could possibly want from a catcher on the defensive side of the ball here for China.
2 lefties now playing catch in China's bullpen. They need a touchdown and an extra point for you American football fans watching worldwide. 1-2 on Carmo. But here's Suo as his pitch count climbs. Suddenly he's up to 41. You hear him grunting a little bit more.
And he just threw 2 days ago. Threw an inning and a third against Germany.
Looked like he was on his way to a 1-2-3 inning, but the throwing error from Wu, a double from Hoju, and a 2 RBI knock from Mascai has now driven in 3 of the 8 Brazil runs.
And it happened so fast.
Big swing. Carmo gets another.
I like that pitch right there. I don't think we've seen enough of that fastball in. We saw it earlier in the inning, and then as the inning went on, we saw less of it. And now people have been able to just sit on the off speed. I think that pitch right there is really effective for Suo, and he needs to use it to get this pitch to work.
Breaking ball, chop foul. Nice gesture right there from Wen Bin Shiing, the left fielder, to help out the ball boy. I don't know too many players that would go that far to help a kid out, but good on you, Wen Bin Shiing.
I love the ball boy uniform. The World Baseball Classic shirt, the blue helmet.
2-2. Line back to the mound, and Swo's right there to stab the soft line drive and end the inning. 2 more runs on Victor Mascai's single. He's driven in 3 for Brazil, and they're up 7 on China.
Temperature rising, I keep getting hotter. It's time to set the stage and set the world ablaze. I can never fade, cause right now I'm made.
Day 3 of the Tucson Regional. You get a beautiful look at sun-kissed Keno Veterans Memorial Stadium on a near 60-degree day. Beautiful mountains off in the distance there, stretching from left field all the way across the horizon. I believe that we were told that those are the Catalina Mountains, if I remember correctly, last night.
I'm glad that you found that out, because I was just going to say we've been here for 3 days and we haven't looked it up.
Because I asked you, the Arizona native, and you go, I don't know. But fortunately, we had a local friend tell us our bearings. Back to the top, Brazil in front, 8-1. He's Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta, producer Mike Trainer, and the rest of our crew. Happy to be with you on day 3. Game 5 of 7 here at the Tucson Regional for next year's WBC.
I'm pretty sure he called for disengage.
Ball and a strike on who worked a walk in the first.
Those 2 runs last inning hurt a lot. Unfortunately, that error from Wu ends up being huge.
Twisted foul.
So now you gotta grind it out even more. Now you're down 7. Give up 6 in the first, 2 in the second. You just got to battle through this for Team China.
We're just locked in. Tough to get him out with 2 strikes. Lemos gets him right there, man. Jinxed them real bad. Hood down on strikes for out number 1.
Yeah, that was a good breaking ball down below the zone. Get him fishing out way out in front. Looks like that's going to be it for Lemos. We take a look at this. Nice slider there. Starts right in the strike zone, looks very hittable, and then drops out.
Nice day at the office. 3 strikeouts, and the bullpen door swings open for Brazil.
I really thought it was going to drop already. It's taken a while.
Yeah.
There it is. And I wasn't ready for it. Unbelievable.
Here are the pitcher rest restrictions, which we have revisited here at the WBC qualifiers in Tucson. 50-plus pitches, which we've seen a handful of times, basically means you are donezo. 30-plus gives you a chance. You pitch back-to-back days. You get a day's worth of rest. And now the pitcher restriction, certainly much more of an impact as we get closer to our final game on Thursday night. Don't forget, later tonight, we've got our final game in the early portion of this bracket, with Colombia looking to finish off a perfect 3-0 against Germany. Still perhaps feeling the sting of that 9-7 loss to this Brazil team yesterday. Heitor Tokar, big boy, coming down the hill. It's a strike on Shiying. And the count evens up at 1-1.
I just love the way Matsumoto is managing through this tournament. So Lemos was at 45 pitches, okay? So the barrier for not being able to throw again in the tournament is 50. But because he threw over 30, but under 50, he can throw again in that championship game if they get there on Thursday. So a lot of thought going into not just winning today, but also once you get this big lead, maybe you can start saving those pitchers you want for Thursday.
Shiying lifts it into right center. Maciel confidently gallops over to put it away. Coming up later tonight, we've got Germany and Colombia wrapping up the early portion of this Tucson qualifier. Germany with a win would complicate matters. They would get to 2-1. Colombia with a win would clinch a spot at 3-0. The off day tomorrow, and then the second and third place game to decide the second and final team going to next year's WBC Thursday night all across the world. And you'll be with us, Stephen Brault, Greg Caserta, producer Mike Trainer, and the rest of the gang, as Pei Liang takes a look at strike one. Heitor Tokar, 24 years old, out of Marília, Brazil, listed at 6'6", 275. Pulled to the left side. Ito rounds out, throws again, not in time. Tough play, Liang with his fourth hit of the tourney for China.
Really good job getting out of the box by Liang. Kind of wrapped that one around, and so didn't get much hair on it. Ito having to come in and try to make that play on the run. And look at Liang out of the box. He's down the line. He knows that he's got a chance for a base hit. Good strong throw over to first base, but speed of Liang just beats it out.
Seeing David Eckstein right there.
Ooh, nice.
That's a little guy who realized he couldn't really throw on the run. He had to really get his momentum into it.
Former coach of mine.
Really?
David Eckstein, yeah. Him and his brother
and
Rick.
Rick, yeah. Rick was the hitting guru. That was the second hit for China, by the way. Pei Liang has been on twice. And here's Yun Lu, who flat out to right his first time. That's down low, and when we get a moment, look, we'll show you right here. Close play at first, Bichette, the extension, the stretch, and clear cut. Liang aboard with an infield single. Big hole on the right side, runner bluffs, pitch fouled away, down by 7, China's not running.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to pay attention to him at first and you can get into scoring position without really any contest.
Okay, so you notice Tokar's not holding on. Okay,
not paying attention.
That makes sense.
And so if you can get into scoring position and a single will score you, it means everything. But look where the left fielder's playing. You got the entire left field, not even just the line, almost all left field.
It doesn't matter. Tokar with some nasty stuff down in the zone. He strikes out Lu, and China's done in the third. Brazil up 7. Here is the first home run in the history of the World Baseball Classic. March 3rd, 2006, Wei Wang, Oppo, Boppo, and history cracked.
It's a good swing right there. Taking the ball out the other way.
And we talked about some of the head-to-heads, mentioning China beating Brazil 5-2 in the 2013 World Baseball Classic. Go back to the qualifiers in 2012. Brazil beat Colombia 7-1. Of course, Leonardo Reginato was in that game. Ended up scoring the winning run in the 5th inning.
Of course he was.
Two-time World Series champ Edgar Renteria was the DH for Colombia and scored the only run in that 7-1 loss. Talk about a player. 5-time All-Star, most for any Colombian-born player. Curveball whacked right side, and how about that? Vitor Ito stays down, and a softball-like swing to push it through. A leadoff single off the new pitcher, Wei Zhao.
That's a little bit of a golf. Pull that ball through the right side. I like what I've seen from Ito. He's just pretty consistent. This one, a curveball down below the zone, and he's way out in front of it. You see that front foot's already going. But keeps the hands back and just slaps that out to the right field for a leadoff single.
Chudi Suo probably deserved a little bit better, but because of the error behind him in the 2nd inning, 2 unearned runs across 2 innings, gave up 3 hits and struck out 2. Wei Zhao checks Silver at first. Zhao, an inning and 2/3 yesterday against Colombia, and did his job. No runs, 1 hit. He's actually the only Chinese pitcher to not give up a run to Colombia. They throw it back with Maciel, the number 9 hitter, standing in following a sac fly in the 1st.
And to go back to Suo, I think that, like you said, it's better than it looks because of the 2 unearned runs. But also, more importantly, after his first outing where he had a few walks, no walks today for him. It looks like the umpires are telling him you got to wait till the hitter's looking at you.
Must be alert to the pitcher. Dropped at the plate. Wong, that's a rare mistake, and now a late throw down to second. Ito takes the extra base.
Like you said, a rare mistake. We've seen Shuai Wong be almost immaculate back there behind the plate. Right there, I think that one tailed a little way further than he thought it was going to, so it ends up just hitting off the tip of his glove, bouncing away. A good read at first by Ito. Like you said, it's a 7-run lead, but that doesn't matter. You got to keep trying to score, doing everything you can to put this game away.
Line to short, but right in front of the runners, so Ito gets back after Wu snags the line drive. Flashback time. Let's go to 1997. Edgar Renteria with the game winner in Game 7 of the World Series. Jim Leland, when he was still a young man. What a career for Jimmy, and what a career for Edgar Renteria, and one of the best World Series in recent memory, especially when the Marlins were wearing those old pinstripe unis.
Oh yeah, the Florida Marlins.
Think back to some of those teams.
They were good.
Charles Johnson, Gary Sheffield, Al Leiter.
Al Leiter, yeah. Was Dontrell on that team back then? That was before his time.
That was 03. That's fouled away, 1-2. Yeah, Josh Beckett. I think Brad Penny was on that 03 Marlins team. Yeah. Of course, a young, svelte third baseman by the name of Miguel Cabrera. 1-2 on Gomez. On towards second, and once again, it's closed up the middle. Tenuan Hu out to his left for out number 2.
Talk about a guy that can always hit. Miguel Cabrera, just an absolute natural.
Remember when he and Maglio Ordonez were together? That was a dangerous duo in the middle for Detroit. Miguel Cabrera, Triple Crown winner, 4-time batting champ. .306 lifetime average, over 3,100 hits, 511 home runs, and a 2-time MVP.
Goodness.
Forgot that he only retired 2 years ago. Seems like longer for whatever reason. Ball pulled on the ground, and that's a fair ball inside the line. Osvaldo Carvalho looking for second. He's got a ribby. He's got a double. What a debut for Carvalho. His second hit drives in a run, and Brazil goes up 9-1.
Good job. They're not trying to do too much. We've seen that with this Brazilian team. We're not seeing any balls really driven over the outfielders' heads. We're just seeing a lot of low-line drives, hard-hit ground balls, focusing on getting barrel to the ball. You see this lefty-lefty. Anytime you can get yourself a knock against the lefty, you're going to feel pretty good about it. Good effort there.
And you know that ball was smoked because John was guarding the line.
He was.
And he dove for it instead of no chance.
Good turnaround third by Ito. Good base runner.
Brazil scored 6 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. It's a 9-1 lead. And here's Reginaldo, who had the RBI single and a run in the first.
You know, that's one of those unfortunate ones as a pitcher, because off the bat, there's the initial thought of, please go foul, please be foul. And then your first baseman playing down the line, and it tails away from him after bouncing over the bag. It's like the worst scenario possible for that ball right down the line, because like you said, you had it covered, but he still got it around that first baseman. That's just tough.
9 runs on 8 hits for Brazil. A couple of doubles sprinkled in there. And Reginaldo hasn't seen one close.
I've been having fun with the green light, no green light thing, so I'm going to say green light here.
I'm with you. And of course, we're both wrong. 4-pitch walk to Leonardo.
I don't think that Leonardo's going to be swinging at that one no matter what.
The plan for him is to join the Quintana Roo Tigers this upcoming season in the Mexican League. Beautiful part of the country down there, not too far from Cancun.
Got a lot of friends playing the Mexican League. All big fans. Baseball down there is
overwhelmingly positive, right?
Very positive. Yeah. Baseball down in Mexico is a huge deal. I mean, it is their main sport other than soccer.
Dante Bichette Jr. spent a little time down there as he takes up high for ball 1.
Pretty high level of play as well. A lot of ex-big leaguers that are trying to get back. Reginaldo will fit in perfectly.
First and second with 2 away. Dante actually recently played for an amateur team in Mexico called the Cafe Bros.
I love that.
Which just sounds like your standard coffee shop, but it's a team. 2-0, hit a mile high on the infield. Who running back, waiting, and dropping, my goodness. Oh dear. I mean, it was right there. And China's defense lets them down again. It's 10-1 Brazil.
You know, that's the second time that Bichette has reached on an error today. And that's just an unfortunate result. Pop up in there all the way, and that just popped out of the glove. Let's see what happens here. Right in the netting, and maybe just squeezed his glove a bit too early. And with 2 outs, running all the way as he should be. You don't have to be sprinting 100%. Just make sure you're giving a good stride, because if that ball drops, you got to score.
Not only that, Reginaldo goes first to third. How many times have we said that for Team Brazil?
Take the extra bases whenever you can get them.
And it brings up Lucas Hoju, who does not need any aid. So far, 2 for 2, an RBI single, a double, and 2 runs. China's defense killing them in the last 2 innings. Errors on the shortstop Wu and Hu at second base. Good spot from Zhao over the inside. Here's another look. Watch Reginaldo at first.
same thing. You don't have to be 100% sprint. You just have to be running through to make sure that when that ball does fall, you're looking at your third base coach, and he gives you that, hey, come on, it dropped. And you saw Hejinato pick up his third base coach, sped up a little bit at the end there to get to third.
I was about to say, the guy doing the most work is the third base coach, because he's watching and windmilling.
Right.
In this case, it's Brazil hitting coach Reinaldo Sato down there at third base. You said it coming into this qualifier, partner. So much can happen in a short amount of time. And Brazil just dull, I guess would be the word, against Colombia. They got shut out in the opener, but the last 2 days they've been just thunderous.
Yeah, unrelenting throughout this entire lineup.
Goes out the corners for Hoju. Whacked on the ground, through the left side, base hit. Scoring Hejinato, and now it's a 10-run lead for the Brazilians.
And that's twice now that an error by the infielders ends up being a big mistake. 2-out errors. We've seen 2 of them these last 2 innings, and now already, what is that, 3 runs coming off of those errors now? Sorry, more than that, 4 runs coming off of those errors now. Good swing by Hoju. He's feeling it. I mean, all these are barreled up perfectly, not up in the air, just hard line drives and ground balls.
And not only do team fortunes change, but individual fortunes change, because Hoju started the day 1 for 7, and now with a 3 for 3, he's 4 for 10 with 2 doubles and 3 RBIs in this tourney. Curveball down and in on Mascai, another guy who's just been on fire. 3 RBIs, a single, a run. Part of this Brazil attack, 11 runs on 9 hits. Line sharply, but right at the shortstop Wu, and the inning comes to an end. But Brazil keeps it pouring on. 8 come to the plate, and they go up 10. It's worth reminding you that there are mercy rules in effect here at the Tucson Qualifier. A game can end when one team is ahead by 15 or more runs through 5 innings. We saw China already fall on the other end of this. They were 10-run ruled by Germany, 12-2 in Game 1 on Sunday. So now it's a 10-run lead. Still a ways to go, but the way Brazil's scoring and capitalizing on every China mistake, we could be talking about this once again as we get closer to the 5th. Alongside my partner Stephen Brault, I'm Greg Caserta. China's turn here on the 4, Jiaji Chen. Look out. And it's high and tight from Aitor Tokar, who ended the 3rd inning with a strikeout.
Aitor probably the biggest player on the Brazilian team, definitely. Maybe even in the qualifiers.
Donald Lutz will give him a run for his money with Germany. A big man. Long levers out there on the mound. So that ball seems like it's going to be jumping on you. Look at that gold belt. That's nice.
Ball and a strike from the heavyweight. And it's 1-2. Again, Tokar 6'6", 275, appeared in 2 games in the 2022 qualifier. Got the start in the finale against Nicaragua with a spot on the line in the 2023 WBC. Gave up 2 runs in an inning and 2/3, but that was the difference. Brazil ended up losing 3-2. Actually, no, I think it ended up being 3-2 on second thought. So it was a close one, but we've talked about it with Colombia and Brazil. A couple of tight ones that didn't break their way. Tokar with another strikeout to begin the 4th.
I think it's really important here to show Brazil's getting better throughout this tournament. They've gotten better every game. So leads you to believe when they get to that game on Thursday, whoever they're going to be playing is going to have a difficult time beating this team because they are feeling very good.
It's the second time that Shen goes down swinging. And it's ball 1 on Yi Zhou. Tokar recently pitched for the Sioux City Explorers in the American Association, and with Dorados de Chihuahua in the Mexican League a year ago. This one hit high in the air by Zhou into center field. Maciel is there for route number 2.
Tokar doing exactly what you were talking about earlier. Not because it's how he's just trying to lay the ball in the zone, but doing a great job of being in the zone and making China have to swing the bat, right? Not giving them the free base runners. That's really the only way you're going to come back from a big deficit like this, is with a little help from the other pitching staff. So good job by Tokar. Just being in the zone, make China hit their way on.
2 quick outs, good downward action. I think everything when you deliver from that high slot at 6'6" is coming downhill. Tough look for Ming-Chin Zhang at the plate. He grounded out to short his first time. Nice breaker over the top. We got about a 16 or 17 mile/hour difference between those first 2 pitches, and Zhang already down 0-2.
That's tunneling coming into play right there.
This little step back line, fastball, protected foul.
You got 2 pitches that look the exact same out of the hand, and one of them is just going to carry with that fastball, even though it doesn't have great velocity in the upper 80s. But you pair that with that big overhand curveball.
Nice shot of the grip right there. Looks like the changeup, perhaps. And there it is. He spiked it.
Does the Vulcan grip. Got that split.
Love that.
Star Trek, you know?
Mm-hmm. I could never do that and keep them straight because I have very small hands. You have no problem.
Nah. I'm also a huge nerd. See that Vulcan
There's
grip
that
right
grip.
there?
Great
Split
job,
between
guys.
You
Way to
need
get that.
You need big hands in order for that pitch to work.
This one hit well, left field. Gomez running back. Gomez is there, and he reaches out to haul it in. Coming from the alley, moving to the corner. We go to the 4th. Brazil up 11-1.
first game against Germany, China committed 4 errors, and here today, 2 huge errors. This one by Chi-Rei Wu across the diamond, the low throw. 2 runs scored off of that, and then in the 3rd inning, an error here on a pop-up. The second baseman, Tianyuan Hu, ends up scoring 2 more runs after that. So 4 runs here on those 2 errors the last 2 innings, and that's really been killer for China.
So the starter Wang gave up 6 earned runs, failed to record an out in the 1st inning. The 2 relievers, Suo and Zhao, a combined 3 innings. The 5 runs that they allowed, all unearned because of those 2 costly errors. And now for the 2nd straight day, we see Dansai Hua throwing the 4th inning. Lefty coming out of the pen, pulled on the ground to 3rd, backhanded by Liu. Across the diamond, nice play on target to get Carmo for out number 1.
Well, that looked nice and easy. Very fundamental play right there by the 3rd baseman, Liu. Take a look at this. This is a hard hit ground ball to his right. Drops down. The reason you do that as a 3rd baseman is because you're able to get on the same level as it and then come up through that throw and kind of use the lifting of your body to put some power in your legs on that throw. So good job.
Pulled on the ground, right side, and Ito attacks on the first pitch to produce his 2nd single.
That one, if you're Hua on the mound, just realize you did your job. That was a weak ground ball through the right side. Nothing you can do about that.
Hua did his job yesterday in his first appearance for China in any facet of the WBC through the final 2 innings in their loss to Colombia, and faced the minimum. Gave up a single to Ronaldo Rodriguez, and then Fabian Pertuz thought he had a base hit, but that was that double play, the play of the tournament. Ming-Chin Zhang diving down the line to start a 5-4-3 double play. Hua then took care of the last 4, so 2 scoreless innings last night. And now to Maciel, the next one fouled off. It's 0-2.
Good job getting some weak contact here, keeping the ball on the ground. Try to roll that double play here with 2 strikes. Maciel, a good runner, and has yet to find himself a base hit. Got a sac fly in his first at bat.
On out to short his last time up. Hua from the 3rd base side. Deals low.
So there's a chance for Brazil wins and Germany wins and Germany or Brazil could be good.
Gabriel Maciel. The plan is to join the Sussex County Miners of the Frontier League this upcoming season. That's up my way in New Jersey. Ground ball left side, the shortstop Wu fires to 2nd, back to 1st, good stretch. And that time China's defense able to take care of the force out.
Yeah, good little turn from short to 2nd there. Couldn't get the runner Maciel. Like I said, speedy runner. That ground ball not hit very hard, but a nice running throw to 2nd base, strike to 2nd, and a strong throw to 1st base, but Maciel beats that out easily.
So Gabriel Gomez, the leadoff hitter, coming up for the 4th time here in the 4th. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run. And again, the 3 Gabriels in this lineup for Brazil. Gomez at the top. And you've got Carmo, the catcher, and Maciel, who just grounded out. He's on at 1st, following the fielder's choice. And tied to Gomez, 2-0. Dansai Hua, 10 appearances in the California Winter League this offseason. He was 5-0, so he split his decisions and worked to a 4.39 ERA. That one hit hard to short, nice charitable hop. Wu flips high to 2nd, but Hu gets up to get it. And the inning comes to an end. On to the 5th. We go.
21, yeah. Brazil with 11 runs, a lot of that attributed to this man right here, Lucas Hoju. Had a double yesterday, came in today 1 for 7 in the tournament, and today 3 for 3. An RBI single in the first, an RBI double in the second, and an RBI single in the third. Hoju doing a great job of just keeping the ball down, finding good pitches to hit, getting a barrel to it, and you know he's feeling good about that. Struggles to start the day, start the tournament, and now in these last few games has really taken off.
And I think we're taking off too, partner. He's Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta. We begin the 5th inning. China getting unloaded on here, 11-1. The new pitcher is Joao Morostica. After Heitor Tokar gave them an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, a couple of strikeouts. Joao, spelled J-O-A-O. And I have to say, coming into this tournament, there were some names that you and I saw, and we thought, oh boy, but we got really good pronunciation guides.
We did.
Props to the team contacts for helping us out along the way. Righty fires, 3-0 on Wong, who's got the lone China run after a triple and a balk in the second. And this kid Morostica, truly a kid, only 20 years old, out of Mirandrópolis, Brazil. All right, so maybe a bit edgy here. 4-pitch walk to Wong.
That was actually Ning Lee. Ning Lee came in as a pinch hitter there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good spot by you.
No, an unceremonious change there. Didn't quite see it early, but that's the catcher we saw in game 1. Wong playing the last 2 games now. Ning getting back in. He had a good first game too.
He did. He also got hit. A couple of times.
And now Gene Young also coming in for Chi-Rei Wu.
This is Gene's 2nd appearance of this WBC qualifier. And a good job right here by Gabriel Carmo to go out and calm down his young righty.
Yeah, I want to make sure, as we talked about before, in these kind of positions, you don't want to give away free passes, because all of a sudden, as we saw in the first inning for Brazil, you get the bases loaded, nobody out, and it starts becoming a carousel, and that's when things start to get dangerous. I know it's a 10-run lead that's very hard to come back from, but it's not impossible. Brazil has scored 11 runs this game, so who's to say China can't do the same if given the opportunity? You just want to shut that down.
Gene Young was the starting shortstop for the opening game of this qualifier against Germany. Ended up 1 for 3 with an infield single. And Morostica just doesn't have it right now. 7 straight out of the zone.
I'll try to dial that back in, but Brazil not taking any chances here. I'm sure they're going to start warming somebody up in the bullpen pretty soon if this starts to get out of hand.
Maybe that's what gets him going. A strike to Young. Chi-Rei Wu got the start at shortstop. His lone appearance ended with a strikeout. Morostica now the 3rd pitcher for Brazil, and he's coming back with a little oomph. 3-2. He pitched professionally for an independent team in Japan, the Tochigi Golden Braves. One of his teammates there this past season, former MLB player Munenori Kawasaki, is still in the cleats at 43 years old.
Munenori. He's Blue Jays, right? Yeah.
Well done, sir.
Thank you. I really enjoyed watching him play. He was also hilarious. His interviews with MLB Network were always unbelievable.
3-2, a little too far inside. Back-to-back walks at the bottom of the China lineup, and it's first and second with nobody out. Was he the one who had that very funny interview with Hazel May?
Yeah.
Is that him? And now we get a visit for Marostica. Andre Rienzo on his way out to slow things down a bit. Andre Rienzo, another one, part of this all-Brazilian coaching staff who had his moment in the sun in the World Baseball Classic. 4 2/3 against Cuba. Always a tough draw. Just 2 earned runs allowed in his lone at WBC appearance. That's something. It also depends on where you get grouped.
Yeah.
The bracket that you end up in. And for China specifically, there were so many times where they got stuck in Tokyo and had to deal with the likes of 2 of the top 5 teams in the world in Japan and Cuba, who we just showed you.
And right now, we don't know exactly where these teams are going to be slotted in their pools. It all depends on basically who wins, who gets through to the, through to the actual tournament, and then they'll decide where to put guys based on geography and, easiest way to get there and everything.
Corners in for Hu. Get off the end of the bat, a little poke, shallow left center. He flirts it in for a base hit. Runner coming home. Here's the throw, way offline. RBI single for Tenyuan Hu to give China its second run.
A little bit of life in the China lineup here. 2 walks at the bottom of the order. That's kind of what I mentioned. You don't want to give the opportunities to the opposing offense. You want to make them have to earn it. There, Tenyuan Hu does earn it, gets himself a knock. See him choked way up on that bat, just short and quick to the ball. But if those 2 walks aren't on, this is just a single, just a flared single, instead an RBI single for Hu.
Just the 3rd hit for China, but Tenyuan Hu is now 4 for 10 in the qualifier. He and Pei Liang both leading the way with 4 hits in 3 games for China. Liang on deck, ball 1 on Shi Ying. 0 for 1 with a sac bunt and a fly out to center. Outfield staggered the other way, soft grounder to second. Hoju to Ito, back to first. Took a little too long for Hoju on the transfer. Let's see a second look. Might have been tough for him to shovel it underhanded out of his mitt, but also hit slowly enough that Shi Ying probably had a good chance to beat it out anyway.
Yeah, and we're just seeing good effort from the Chinese team, even down the amount of runs they are, running everything out very hard. You see Hu there does a great job of staying up, not sliding in, making it a little bit of an uncomfortable throw and transition over to first. Shi Ying hustling down the line, keep out of that double play, keep those runs in order.
Something you talked about, and it bears repeating, talking about the managing of Yuichi Matsumoto. Even here, even though his right-hander Marostic has given up a run, to have the 20-year-old come in a comfortable spot to give him a taste of what the WBC is about, I think is a smart move. You're not putting too much pressure on the kid to try and come in and protect a close game.
I agree, and I think the other part of that is, I mean, this is just a great experience for this young player to be able to play in a tournament of this caliber. So he loves it. He's excited, probably a little frustrated right now trying to get out of this, but a good experience for everybody involved. And like you said, good opportunity for him to come in, and Matsumoto will be ready if things start to get hairy.
Like right here, 3-0 on Liang, who's been on twice already with a walk and an infield single.
Marostica very tall, 6'3", maybe still figuring out those long levers.
And they gave him the green light on 3-0. This one popped up into shallow center. Maciel is there. The runner stays. Bichette cuts it off, and everybody gets back to where they should be. I don't know if I love that for Pei Liang in that spot, but China trying to roll the dice, and they come up empty for out number 2.
Well, trying to do a little extra damage, but yeah, I mean, if you're really trying to win this game, you probably shouldn't be swinging 3-0 there. I know Liang's your best hitter, and if he gets a good pitch to hit, you trust that he's going to make the right decision, and he was right on that. Just carried up a little bit higher than he was expecting, and so he popped it straight up. And that one, yeah, I mean, it ends up hurting a little bit. the sting of the 3-0 out in this situation.
Yun Liu, the batter, sees one outside for ball one. Liu has struck out and fly to right. He's won a couple of gold medals in the National Baseball Champions Cup. Runners at the corners, tipped, and a throw back. That's a dead ball, strike one. I do love the play from the catchers here. We've seen some guys really take chances. We like those back picks to first, quick pop times and the like. And I can't really blame Carmo, because looking over at first base, Wenbin Xiang is kind of in motion on every pitch.
Yeah, it looks like he is ready to take off at any time.
The old pendulum swinging. Ball three.
A 3-ball count here for Morosica. And in a 3-1 count, you got to believe that Liu's definitely going to be looking for a good pitch to hit. I would say try to wrap one down the left field line. You got all the space in the world.
3-1. How about this? Served in the center. Is that caught? Is that caught? Yes, it is. Gabriel Maciel saves a run, holds up the baseball, and Brazil's defense countering China's attack. I don't know how Maciel got to this, but he did. And he saves it in style. Halfway done here in game one of our final day of doubleheaders in Tucson. Bottom of the fifth inning begins here at Kino Veterans Memorial Stadium. This facility, which opened in February of 1998, served as the spring training home for the Diamondbacks and White Sox. Same year that the Diamondbacks opened shop about 90 miles away in Phoenix. Osvaldo Carvalho takes a look at strike one. What a debut for him. After riding the pine in the first two games, he's come out today 2 for 3 with an RBI double and a couple of runs. Left-hander Dan Sairang Hua to the plate. Big swing, and Carvalho, to his credit, just coming right in and getting dirty.
Well, he got himself a single and a double. He scored 2 runs. Also, talking about the Kino Sports Complex in general, a lot of people don't know this. This is where Randy Johnson hit the bird. This stadium is where he did it.
I was told that that is not true.
Really?
That it was at a different ballpark in Tucson. We will get confirmation.
Gotta get confirmation
from some of our locals here, but I was told that that is a inaccurate statement about this facility, because I thought the same thing. 0-2. 1-2. Now I'm being told that the camera ops are saying it was here. So eventually we will get to the bottom of the Randy Johnson Bird Massacre mystery from many years ago. 1-2. And it's down low. So when you think about Brazil also showing now that Yuichi Matsumoto's got pretty good depth all over in this lineup.
Seems like they've been doing a good job of just getting guys in good situations, using pitchers in the right times, taking out pitchers at the right times. And, you know, this lineup, the way it's been set up, a few changes here and there, but mostly pretty consistent.
Good adjustment to the curve, and we'll do another 2-2.
And that's how you build success in a tournament like this, especially if you got a guy like Carvalho who's able to step in on day 3 for the first time and be extremely effective.
He's got a poise about him for a 23-year-old who really doesn't play baseball professionally full time. And he finds himself in another favorable count with Reginaldo and Bichette to follow. 2, 3, and 4 for Brazil here in the 5th inning, leading 11-2. Hua to the plate. He fires. Curveball pulled softly to first. Jong rounds out, takes it himself, and gets over just in time. Let's go back to the defensive play to end the last half inning. Gabriel Maciel immediately shows the baseball, getting there just in time and pulling it off the turf with style and grace.
I mean, that's a perfect approach to that ball, coming in that way, getting the glove down, diving low. I think that's something that is often mistaken as maybe a weird dive. No, you get down low first and then dive, and then you're able to kind of get underneath it. You saw the way his glove actually got under that ball. It's a great play.
I always remember, and I want to say it was Hideki Matsui many years ago for the Yankees, going into a dive and getting his wrist caught underneath him.
Oh, yeah.
And then fracturing it. We've seen it happen with numerous players, but there is a way to do it properly. And I thought that right there, initially we couldn't tell if it hit the grass or not, but Maciel made it look pretty, that's for sure. Reginaldo on 2-0.
And I think important to note that Maciel's struggled during this tournament at the plate. He's now 0 for 8. He does have a sac fly, so he has an RBI today. But 0 for 8 at the plate and still out there in center field making great plays. That's what you can do. That's how you bring value to a team. If you can play on both sides of the ball, you bring a lot of value to a team even when you're not hitting.
Sure. And you know that because you did both.
I tried.
You did. 3-1 on Reginaldo. Count fills up. Reginaldo has been on twice, an RBI single, a walk, and a couple of runs. Actually, no, they've taken him out. Mizukosi, rather, beg your pardon. 3-2, fouled off.
That was a sneaky change. That got by us, too.
Just not sure if they're announcing them.
Mizukosi, 30-year-old, debuted for Brazilian national team in 2015. South American Championship, takes a walk.
So Reginaldo's done, and job well done by Felipe Mizukosi, which means that the number 3 spot in the order has been on 3 times here for Brazil.
I mean, if you step into Reginaldo's spot in the lineup, do you just immediately subsume all of his abilities?
I mean, you better live up to the hype from that number 3 spot. Here's Bichette. In a weird way, he has been on all 3 times today. A walk, and then his last 2 times up, he's the one that hit into the errors up the middle by Chiré Wu and Tenyuan Hu. So he's played a big role in this game, even if it's kind of accidental.
And Bichette still hasn't broken out here in this tournament. Came into today 1 for 8. He did have a double. That one was kind of a wind-aided double down right field when we were dealing with heavy winds against Germany yesterday. Other than that, hitless.
I see his hair. We're in a ballpark, and I immediately think cotton candy.
Oh, yeah. He gives some cotton candy.
His brother Bo, 2-time All-Star with the Blue Jays, a couple of batting titles, and a recipient of a 3-year extension, which will prime him for a big payday in a little bit. He and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It's going to be very interesting to see what transpires north of the border.
I love that hitting position. That picture is great, but that is not something you are ever going to teach a kid to do. that is Bo Bichette and only Bo Bichette. But it is amazing. He's not a very big guy. He's definitely smaller than his brother Dante, but he can generate so much power through his legs. Just a good player.
Right side is pretty wide open here for Bo, or Dante rather. It takes a strike. Let's not forget, Dante Bichette Jr. was a high draft pick, 51st overall by the Yankees in 2011. And he works a walk, so back-to-back free passes issued by Hua. And here's Bo on display.
He's a guy that every time you watch him play, you just figure you're going to see him do something special, right? His swing is so intoxicating to watch. He's very aggressive at the plate. And, man, he's got so much pop. Look at that, 93 homers through his 6 MLB seasons. And more importantly, that 466 slugging from shortstop. Ooh.
We're very spoiled with the amount of shortstops that play this game so well right now. This one hit high in the air by Hosier. Sheehan comes in to make the catch. And Hosier's finally retired after starting 3 for 3.
And that ball was also hit pretty well on the screws. Just unfortunately, that one lifted it up in the air. If that's on a line, that's a very difficult play for a left fielder.
And when we think about the modern day shortstop, you think about some of the old guard, if you will, like the older guys now are the Correas, the Seagers, the Swansons. That's what's scary about it.
And it's crazy. The fact that Corey Seager is still a shortstop is awesome. Everybody always talking about his entire career. There's no way he'd stick at shortstop. Well, so there, he says.
Two-time World Series MVP, one of the most clutch players around. And hopefully can stay healthy for a full year in Texas. Big year coming in Arlington. Victor Mascai, the batter. And it's up high, a ball and a strike. Mascai's been on twice. Bases loaded walk in the first inning, 2 RBI single in the second. Lined out to short his last time. An 11-2 Brazil lead, as they look to close out the qualifier with back-to-back wins after getting blanked by Colombia in the opener.
Good last inning, but really struggling to find the strike zone here. Does have 2 outs, but 2 walks. Falling behind the count here on Mascai as well.
And Hua, to his credit, in a loss last night against Colombia, now here today has a chance to deliver back-to-back days with 2 scoreless innings out of the pen.
Just got to execute a pitch here. Nice.
Just like that.
Good fastball on the outside corner. No way Mascai was going to be able to do anything with that, because he's in a 3-1 count. He's looking to pull that ball to right field. Paint that fastball on the outside corner. He's not going to swing. Now the question is, how do you approach him in the full count?
Runners get their start. And this one's floated to left. Another chance for Sheehan. Breaking in. And that one surprised him, but he hangs on to retire the side. We go to the 6th. Brazil up 11-2.
one swing away from 700 career home runs. Pujols sends one in the air. It's deep to left. Taylor's back at the wall. It's 700. Albert Pujols has joined the 700 home run club.
History from Albert Pujols, who did strike out against our own Stephen Brault.
Yeah, he did.
No big deal.
Sorry about it.
A call from Wayne Randazzo on Apple TV, produced by our very own Mike Trainer. Well done, gentlemen.
No, that's why she made sure to
We play that because we announced yesterday the official news that Albert Pujols will be managing the Dominican Republic team in next year's WBC. Pretty solid start to his managerial career, I'd say.
Meteoric rise as a manager.
New pitcher for Brazil is Marcelo Young, who I believe was a very late add to this roster.
He won that championship in the DR Winter League with Escogido, and then just continued going. Won the Caribbean Series against Licey, which was an awesome game.
I figured you were locked in on that.
Oh my gosh, what a game.
Marcelo Young, the pitcher.
And now he's going to get to do the national team for the WBC, and it's just going to be really cool to watch because he's a legend, obviously, from the Dominican Republic. And so to see him lead that team.
Let's not forget an MLB Network colleague. Swinging a tapper foul by Jiaji Chen. Actually, it's Yu Yang Lin at the plate. So changes are coming in.
Yeah, Team China getting their guys in here. Make sure they get a few at-bats before, unfortunately, this looks like it may be the end for them in this tournament. You definitely want to keep going through. Try to get yourself through this 9 innings. Score a few runs. Feel good about how you end up this tournament.
So Lin down on strikes. Young with a punch out. And the 5 spot for China now. 3 Ks. Good on Marcelo Young to come in and start his first appearance of this qualifier with a strikeout. Yi Zhou is flat out twice, once to left, once to center. Brazil's outfield's been all over the place here today. And there's a strike on the outside. Marcelo Young with back-to-back Ks. And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic Inc. and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. There's the DR. One of the coolest cats around, holding the trophy front and center, Robinson Cano. Who's still playing in Dubai.
Yeah. You know, it's really fun when we play those graphics and you get to kind of go through and name all the players that you see from those past WBCs. It's a lot of fun.
Look at him with that gold medal.
2013 DR versus Puerto Rico. That was a good one.
Early on in the Mariners days. One of the smoothest swings of all time from Robbie Cano. And we talked about that a little bit, how some guys like him, right? We talked about how it looks like he's not really trying, but he just really doesn't have to sometimes.
Yeah, it's the way that his body moves athletically. You can't teach somebody to be that smooth and to look that lackadaisical when giving full effort. For other people, it is because they're not trying. For Robinson Cano, it was just because that's how his body worked. He was just so smooth.
Fastball dead red, a called strike on Zhang. He was trying to erase an 0 for 2.
He really went by the saying, slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
I don't think I've ever heard it put that way. I like that. Young looking to strike out the side here in the 6th. I always loved watching Cano on balls hit up the middle when he would go to his backhand and then kind of swivel the throw on the run and just
throwing an underhand.
Just amazing. Another 3-2 on the way from Young. Broken bat roller left side. The third baseman Mizukoshi plants and throws. 3 up, 3 down. Marcelo Young with a solid debut. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Another reminder that this is what these teams are playing for. The last 2 spots in next year's World Baseball Classic. Puerto Rico, Houston, Tokyo, and Miami, the host sites for the 4 pools. Can't wait to get there, but of course we still have a full 2025 season in front of us as we bring you back to Keno Veterans Memorial Stadium here in Tucson. He's Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta, Mike Trainer, our producer, and the rest of our crew, bringing you game 5 out of 7 here of this qualifier. Ball and a strike on Brazil catcher Gabriel Carmo at a 2 RBI single back in the first. Tell you what, best part for China today, Don Sairang Hua through 2 scoreless innings, now embarking on a 3rd.
Yeah, 6 runs by Brazil in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, although all 5 of those runs were unearned. But these last 2 innings, 2 zeros from Don Sairang Hua.
He's been the bandage so far in this 9-run deficit. 1-2 to Carmo coming down the hill. Swing and a miss, he challenged him. And that is only the first strikeout for Hua. Here's what happened in Taiwan. Nicaragua the first. Let the party begin. Great slow-mo shot right there. That's a lot of water.
Yeah, they went 3-0 in that tournament. And then Spain and Chinese Taipei played in that championship game, like we will have on Thursday.
Actually heard from the voice of that one not too long ago. Tyler Mon, friend of the program. Swinging a fly ball by Ito into right field for Joe, who camps for out number 2. Later in that tourney, just a few days ago, Chinese Taipei, they became the 2nd team to qualify, and they brought even more water to their celebration. And here in Tucson, Colombia, the front runner right now at 2-0.
Looks like we're getting an
We sure are.
defensive change. Not something you see very often.
Nan Du is going to be the new left fielder for China.
New left fielder for Team China, number 3, Du Nan.
So Nan come on as a late replacement in one of China's earlier games. So that Chinese Taipei qualifier, you had Tyler Mon and the big Aussie, Ryan Roland Smith, on the call. Great to hear from Tyler, who's been checking out these games here in Tucson. Gabriel Maciel, the batter, roped up the middle, base hit into center. First hit for Maciel here in this qualifier. As you said before, finally off the offer, he is 1 out of 8.
It is incredible how often somebody can be struggling at the plate, make a great defensive play, and then take that over. Let that confidence from the defense roll over to the box. Great swing there, just a line drive right up the middle. Nice short swing, good job.
Turns it over to the top. Gabriel Gomez, 0 for 3 with a walk and a run. Gomez only 1 for 10, but when he gets on, he tends to score. 3 walks, 3 runs here in the qualifier. Now, one thing to keep an eye on here is 10 runs in the 7th inning because of the mercy rule. Brazil would love that. Get guys off their feet and save the bullpen a little more.
Save the bullpen, yeah, not have to use the same amount of pitchers. Most of these guys will be ready to go, though, for Thursday. Get that day off tomorrow.
Now, when you were a player, if you had the day off tomorrow knowing that you'd be coming back Thursday, how would you spend it? Would it be just really take it easy and relax, or would you look to get together with the guys and do something fun?
It depends on what the situation was. You probably want to relax for a while, but no reason not to go get dinner with some of the boys. Always good for team bonding to get out of the hotel.
3-1 on the way to Gomez. Runner goes, pitch lined, over short, base hit. Brazil's motto, first to third. That's exactly what they do. And Gabriel Gomez has his first hit of the day.
Another sharp line drive. That one's kind of fun because we had the runner Maciel going from first. That ball was absolutely laced and just right at the shortstop. And so Maciel knows if this gets caught, he has no chance. He is definitely going to get doubled up at first base. So once you realize that, you might as well keep going. Look at him. See, he takes off, sees it's going to short, says, oh, if that's caught him out. But since he's already there, able to round the bag, head straight on into third. Like you said, the Brazilian base running has been really good. We actually talked about that before because they really struggled on the bases in their first game. And since then, the base running has been much, much better.
Everything has been much better. But you're right. They ran into those 2 outs, killing any chance they had in that 5-0 loss to Colombia. And that's actually now a metric that people measure. Teams that run first to third. If I remember correctly, the Royals were right near the top a year ago.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
And here, Osvaldo Carvalho in his debut has a chance to make something happen. All of this with 2 outs. And imagine that Hua is beginning to tire now that he's thrown his 50th pitch.
We got nobody in that bullpen for China.
He's wearing it here. First and third, back-to-back singles with 2 outs. And again, this could be where things start to teeter on China because that 10-run rule is 90 feet away plus the 7th inning. Outfield pretty deep for Carvalho, who's doubled in a run and scored twice.
Good take there right off the outside corner. Carvalho has been a tough out today. Got a single and a double. He scored twice. He grounded out to first and he struck out. But I like his swing. I like his approach at the plate. He's had a few lefty at bats, and it seems like he feels pretty comfortable.
Jam shot into the Brazil dugout.
Brazil's probably got the biggest fan contingent here out of any of the teams. And a lot of Brazilian blue down near the dugout.
In less than 24 hours, Dansirang Hua has thrown 67 pitches. Big spot for him right here, trying to get Carvalho on 2-2. Full count. That's what made last night so fun, watching Hua. 2 innings to get China to the finish line. Only needed 14 pitches.
Yeah, it was efficient. Here a little bit shakier. You think maybe a little tired, like you said.
There goes, and it's popped back just to our left.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten one. Back into the booth.
We got a lot of equipment up here, big boy.
Got 4 hands, too.
2 really good ones, 2 not so good. let you be the judge at home. Another payoff on the way. Gomez gets his release from first. Let's try it again. All four, and they're loaded.
Just lost him there. You can tell he's starting to kind of get underneath the ball and push it a little bit. That's usually coming from being tired. You can't get in your legs the same way that you usually do. You end up, your arm starts dropping below the ball a little bit, and you start pushing it. That's why you see those fastballs missing up consistently to Carvalho.
Second plate appearance here for Felipe Mizukosi, who came on to replace Hejinata. We worked a walk in the 5th. Mizukosi packs a lot of punch for 5'9", 188. Bases juice, ball 1. He was one of the most dangerous hitters in the Brazilian Baseball Championship a year ago. 14 games at .415, drove in 11 runs.
It's not bad.
Great RBI chance here, but as Brault said, Hua starting to lose it as he gets lower and lower.
Yeah, you see that ball pushing up and away toward his arm side. That's pretty much the most obvious indicator of being tired. You kind of just lose your legs. I feel like that's what people kind of miss sometimes, is tired doesn't necessarily mean your arm is tired. A lot of times it means your legs are tired because you're using them so much with every pitch. You start to lose that base, and it's hard to get the timing of your arm.
After a quick visit, the 2-0. Mizukosi wanted it, but he pulled the trigger too late. Mizukosi debuted for the Brazilian national team when they won silver at the 2015 South American Championship, which was held in Brazil. And keep in mind, Brazil hadn't won one of those in over 10 years before he joined the squad. 2-1. And it's ball 3. And now China's starting to feel the pressure a little bit more, because this inning started with 2 quick outs. All of this with a 2-out rally for Brazil. Back-to-back singles and a walk. And now a dangerous pitch on the way to Mizukosi, who hits the 3-1 softly. Shallow center. Li Yang gets there. Inning over. And Brazil leaves them loaded to send us to the 7th. Brazil got off to a wicked fast start. The first 7 batters of the game reached. They chased the starter Xiang Wang, who faced 6 of them and failed to record an out. In total, 10 batters came to the plate, and Brazil walked away with a 6-0 lead, which is why we're here now at 11-2, starting the 7th. With Stephen Brault, I'm Greg Caserta here on day 3, game number 5 of the WBC qualifier here in Tucson. Ning Lee up for the 2nd time, walked and scored the 2nd Chinese run in the 5th.
You see 12 hits for this Brazilian team in this game. Haven't scored in the last 3 innings, though. Kept him at 11. And Sairang Hua coming in, getting the job done. Last inning a little nerve-wracking, but he got through it.
Young misses his spot. Ning Lee had a 2-year stint on the independent circuit here in the U.S. in 2018 and 2019 with the now defunct Texas Air Hogs, part of the American Association. And it was really interesting because the Air Hogs had a deal in place to host members of the Chinese national team during their last 2 years of existence. And over 114 games, Lee was all right at 267. Not a lot of pop, but 357 on base.
Yeah, I think multiple of the players on this Team China have played with some teams that they have that agreement. Get those players over to the States, let them see competition over here. Just another attempt at growing the game all over the world.
From 3-0 down, Marcelo Young fires the payoff, and he gets a soft bouncer to second. Hoju right there for the first out. Here's Gene Young. Talked about him just yesterday. Here's what he did in the last World Baseball Classic in 2023. He was 4 for 13. But this was the coolest one. Ohtani throws 99 and he goes, I don't care. He just barreled it up the other way.
That's such a good swing.
That was China's only hit in 4 innings off Shohei. And it belongs to this man, Gene Young, who walked back in the 5th.
That's the only way you're going to hit that fastball with that velocity, is just be as short as you possibly can to the ball. Let him do all the work, providing all the power. That high velocity, you don't need to do much.
Just like that.
That's a perfect swing.
So Gene Young's got a flair for going the other way. He's on a second time. And the Chinese have a base runner here in the 7th.
That was really nice. Gets a fastball here and just lets that do the work. Just drops the bat head on it.
With a swing like that, you could play forever.
Oh, absolutely. That's the kind of guys you see just get a lot of hits. It doesn't matter who they're facing. They seem to always find a way to get the ball over there to the left side of the infield, but in the outfield grass.
That wasn't nearly as hard, but also because the pitch from Young wasn't thrown nearly as fast.
That is true.
Tenyuan Hu at the plate. Had the RBI single, which brought in the 2nd run in the 5th. It's been a great tournament for Hu. 4 for 10 with an RBI.
He just does a good job of fighting in the box. We've talked about that a few times. It's 2-strike approach is great.
Rolled over right side. Long run for Hoju. Good footwork, good eye work, and gets the sure thing at first for the out. We'll see another look at that. I really liked Hoju here. We've talked about his game at the plate, but watch this. As he glides to his left, he takes a peek over at second, goes nope, and then sends off a quick throw. That's perfectly done.
Yeah, you always want to check the runner just in case you have that opportunity. What if he tripped, right? And you want to take advantage of that. You take a peek. You know you're going to have time to get that out at first. You can't take your time, but you take that peek right when you field it, and then you got the opportunity still at first.
Here is Nandu batting for the first time. Remember, he came on a very quick, sudden defensive sub in left field. Pulled to first, up the line, foul.
Marcelo Young doing a good job here of just kind of keeping it in the zone, making sure that China's got to hit their way on.
Battle of the bullpens, Brazil and Colombia, not too shabby.
No, not at all. I think that's been with Brazil, it's kind of what we knew coming in. I think Colombia is a little bit more of a surprise in a good way. We saw some pitchers last night that maybe people haven't heard of, guys who have really just been playing in the Colombian Winter Leagues, and guys that maybe have not played affiliated baseball for quite a while. Still got some really good stuff. Ocampo looked great. Vargas looked great.
That struck the other way into left, but the Brazilian outfield positioned perfectly. Gomez right at the spot to put it away and send us to the stretch. We bring this to your attention because Brazil can win it with a run here in the bottom of the 7th inning. China found this out the hard way in their opening loss to Germany, 12-2, the final in 7 just 2 days ago. Now it's 4-5-6 for Brazil with an 11-2 lead. Dante Bichette Jr. trying to end it on one swing. First pitch from the new right-hander for China, Guang Shuang's son. Just 18 years old. Trying to give China a chance in the 8th. Very bright knit. That's Bichette to roll over on one to short. Gene Young throws on the run, nice and quick.
That was a good play. Cutting off that last hop, getting it more on the short hop, gives you less room for error. That second bounce a lot of times on a chopper like that has a ton of spin on it. So you want to make sure you get that as close to you as you can. And then you got to get that glove all the way out in front of you, cut the distance. Very good play at short.
It got dicey at the end, but Don Saireng Hua finished off 3 scoreless innings to momentarily stop the bleeding for China. So he finishes the tourney in a span of, what would you say, 18 hours?
Yeah.
5 scoreless.
That is impressive.
Against Colombia and Brazil. Pitch to Hoju, chop foul, wide of third.
We've seen some good performances from Team China. You know, we had Dante Saireng Hua, we've talked about. I also thought Tian Yuan Hu has been fantastic at the top of the lineup. Good to see Liang Pei really coming into his own.
2-strike pitch from Sun. Poked down the right field line. Joe was positioned that way, tough up against the wall. And he goes in hard, but unable to make the play, still 0-2.
Yeah, quite a bit of room down the left field line past that foul line, but on the right field side, that thing tucks up real close to that wall. So good effort on the slide. That's what you got to do. You're not going to be able to break down your sprint at that point, so you have to go for the slide. You just hope you don't twist an ankle or hit a knee on that wall. It's padded, but when you're running full speed, I mean, it doesn't do that much.
Kick in the 0-2. Curveball, jam, flicked, left field. It's in there. It's a 4-hit day for Lucas Hoju.
Came into today 1 for 7. And now a 4-hit day, 4 for 5 for Hoju. And he's got 2 RBIs, he's got a double. He's done everything today. Been awesome to watch. This one he actually gets jammed. It's that in on the label. And honestly, if he didn't hit it on the label, it might have been caught. So good for him.
Pinch runner coming in for Brazil. And it's Thiago Nishiyama relieving Hoju. Where's the Superman cape after finishing his day 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a couple of runs.
That run at first matters. Remember, even though this is a big deficit, if that run scores, this game is over. So you put your speedy runner there. Wouldn't be surprised to see him even take a bag if the opportunity presents itself.
If I remember correctly, going back to yesterday in that 9-7 win over Germany, the 2 times that Yuichi Matsumoto went to a pinch runner, both times they came around to score.
They did. And both times they came around to score on plays that required a little bit of speed. You know, plays that, you know, scoring from second or going from first to third on a play that maybe a slower runner wouldn't have been able to take that extra bag.
Nishiyama being one of those pinch runners. Getting the Gerard Dyson treatment here for Team Brazil.
You're here to run.
Close to the outside, 2-1 on Victor Mascai. Who's slowed down a bit, but still having a heck of a day. Here's Yuichi Matsumoto. Cool, calm, and collected. Hasn't changed one bit the entire time here in Tucson. Nice curve over the outside, 2-2.
Good pitch there to steal that ball to strike. Starts outside off the plate. Looks like it's never going to curl back in, but it does at the last second. Not really much you can do from Mascai there.
Winning run at first for Brazil. It's Nishiyama because of the 10-run mercy rule. That's poked to second, and that gets through Hu. And this is trouble for China. Nishiyama to third. Nishiyama stopped. Winning run 90 feet away.
Nice swing there by Maskai. Line drive that just ate up the second baseman. There's only so much you can do on a play like that. You gotta do everything you can to keep it in front. But a ball like that with that much spin, when it hits the ground, it's just gonna hike up. There's not much you can do. Take a look at this. On the screws, bounces right above his head. Did the right thing. Try to get down underneath it and work from the ground up. That's the best way to try to make that play. And honestly, I think because of that overthrow to the cutoff man, they could have actually scored that run, but with one out, you want to keep that runner safe. Don't want to get thrown out at home there. Carmo's looked pretty good today. Infield will be in.
That has rolled a double for Maskai, his second hit. Pushes Nishiyama the winning run to third, and now China's on the verge of getting mercy 12-2 for the second time in 3 days. Carmo.
Let's take a look at this overthrow of the cutoff man. Kind of a strange approach, almost an infielder throw back to the infield. The center fielder there, Liang, ended up getting away with it.
Carmo 1 for 4 with a 2 RBI single. Stares at that big looping curve from Sun. Now you have to factor in the wild pitch. So many options here for Brazil to win this game and end it in 7. What a turnaround for the Brazilians. A chance to go into the off day. Fouled back 1-2.
Yeah, chance to go into the off day knowing 100% that they're going to be playing on Thursday. You know, there's no weird, oh, it depends on who else wins and then we might play or we might not. No, they'll be able to plan accordingly, especially manager Yuichi Matsumoto. We've seen him, I would say he's probably the most active manager out of this tournament we've seen so far. Not necessarily a micromanager, but definitely makes decisions. Doesn't just let the game play out. He's been affecting these games, and always positively.
Perfectly said, partner. 1-2. Swing and a miss. And Sun dug deep, had a little extra oomph on the fastball, and takes care of Carmo for the second out.
That was a perfectly executed fastball up and in there. Just nothing you could do at the plate with that, because you're kind of sitting on that slow curveball and then just pump fastball up and in.
All right, Vitor Ito, you've got a chance to be the hero. And you can really hear Sun barking from the mound. Strike 1.
Yeah, you know, at this point, that's a matter of pride, right? If you're Team China, you're down by 9 right now. You don't want to be run ruled for the second time. You want to go through this game and finish it out.
China on the verge of disappearing here in Tucson. A ball and a strike on Ito, who's got 2 singles and a run. This Brazil offense today, 11 runs on 14 hits. 1 run away from a mercy rule win here in 7. Ito through the right side, and Brazil still alive in their bid to return to the WBC.
Very quietly, Vitor Ito had 3 hits today. He had 3 hits. He scored once. He got that game-winning single right there. Great game for him. Great game all around for this Brazilian offense, especially. Of course, the pitching staff did a great job as well. But seeing the offense continue to improve every game in this tournament, no matter who plays them on Thursday, whether it's Colombia or Germany, you're going to have a task set out for you. Very difficult stopping these Brazilians in their tracks, because, man, they are feeling feisty at the plate.
Brazil was blanked 5-0 by Colombia. They edged Germany yesterday 9-7 and put a hurting on China today with a 6-run first and a 12-2 mercy rule win in 7, ending China's quest. And for the first time, China will not be heading to the World Baseball Classic. Vitor Ito ends it right here. A muted celebration because Brazil knows they still have to win 1 more.
It's not over for Brazil. Unfortunately, it is over for China. They gave every effort they could. A young baseball team out here. And I have no doubt that as we see them the next few WBCs coming up, they'll just be getting better and better. But good effort out there for China, but Brazil just put the hammer down today.
The best part is we still have 1 more coming up later tonight here at Kino Veterans Memorial Stadium. Brazil mercy rules China 12-2 in 7, getting us set for the nightcap between Germany, they're 1-1, and the unbeaten team from Colombia at 2-0. The day off tomorrow, and then the big final on Thursday with 2 teams vying for the last 2 spots in the WBC. Qualifier play continues through Thursday, March 6th, here in Tucson. Later tonight, our final doubleheader concludes as Colombia looks to remain perfect against Germany and return to the WBC. Our coverage begins at 6 p.m. local time. For Stephen Brault, producer Mike Trainer, and the rest of our outstanding crew, I'm Greg Caserta. We'll see you later tonight for more qualifier action here in Tucson.